Coby White and Josh Giddey combined for 58 points, and the Bulls win over the Pacers. But unfortunately, Josh Giddey goes down with a nasty-looking ankle injury. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, a member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. That's Pat, the designer, host, and creator of the Windy City Breeze, and host of the Chicago Bears podcast over at ESPN 1000. I'm Hayes, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central and Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Pat, started off, the Bulls get their third win in a row. And tanking fans everywhere all scream out. It's as if all the voices in the galaxy screamed out and were silenced all in one swoop. How you feeling, Pat?
Listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. To hold an olive branch to the tanky fans, because most of y'all I think are a little bit extra. Y'all doing a little too much.
A little bit extra?
Yeah.
It started off a little bit extra. Now it's at a completely different place.
Hey, listen, look. They doing a little too much with it tonight. Yeah, I mean, like the Nets didn't win a game. Yeah, I mean, it feels like maybe you let it at least get close. Y'all sitting here trying to get this ninth seed. Yeah, I mean, they're only 2 games back on the ninth seed. I did a little bit too much winning for my liking. Yeah, I said y'all was gonna make the playoffs as a play-in team. I didn't say y'all was gonna make it as an 8th seed. I need y'all to calm down. That's all I'm saying. But the one thing that I will say is, listen, the principles that the Bulls have been pursuing for the identity that they want this team to be lately have not waned and did not wane in this game. I thought defensively this was a team that still consistently got after the Indiana Pacers tonight. I thought what we saw in the second quarter of this game was an absolute masterclass in just purely shutting a team down. And when you get hot and you're able to pop off for 40 points, it does make a big difference in the outcome of a game. But, you know, to me, I thought the conversation in that first half, outside of just the scoring that the Bulls were doing, was the fact that they made things very difficult for the Indiana Pacers. It wasn't a ton of steals. There weren't a ton of block shots in that first half, but just doing a good job closing out, forcing them to take some tough shots, forcing them to shoot 37% from the field. They were taking some threes that normally we would see a Bulls team allowed to just be wide open looks. Bulls did a great job closing out, forcing them to shoot 22% in that first half. From the three-point line as a whole. Listen, when you stand on the principles of who your team is, I'm not going to sit there and complain.
Well, it's not even just standing on the principles of who this team is. The team is actually changing who they are. Like in today's game, for example, like you look at the points in the paint, like the Bulls over this recent stretch have they still try to shoot threes, right? But they've done what me and you talked about early on, like what they should have been doing. If the threes aren't falling, what do? You attack the paint.
Yeah.
Right? You attack the paint. They're getting to the free throw line. They're just doing things like before where it was like, we're going to spam these threes. What if the threes don't fall in? Hell, I don't know. Now it's like, all right, bet the threes aren't falling. Let's go and attack, right? Let's try to put the defense on its heels. You're seeing that from the Bulls in this game. And so, like, it's really good to just see the Bulls actually operate like a team that has more than just one way to play. And that's what's plagued the Bulls for so long, is that they've had one way to play. If the Bulls were going to run a couple of pick and rolls, if that didn't work, it was going to be DeMar dribbling the hell out the ball, right? Like earlier this season, the Bulls were going to shoot a bunch of threes. If that didn't work, they were going to pray that they started going in at some point in time, right? Now you're seeing not only more movement off the ball, you're seeing attacking the paint, and you're actually seeing like these players just move and operate like they understand where they need to be. Maybe this is all instinct. I have no idea, because I don't understand how you can go from such a night and day difference, and all you added were 3 players who weren't on your team, who technically you should have had to incorporate into the scheme. It seemed like they brought the scheme with them.
Yeah, they are the scheme, and you might have to get rid of one of them. I'll say this. Listen, I think there's something that the Chicago Bulls have realized, and dare I say Billy Donovan has realized it. Go with what works. And remember, we didn't do a post-game show after that Miami Heat game, but remember when Coby White and them came back in late in that game and the Bulls were trying to make that late game push, and Coby comes in, he puts up a 3, doesn't knock it down. I think I want to say Kevin Huerter came in, put up a deep 3 that was crazy. doesn't knock it down. Zach Collins takes a corner three, doesn't knock it down. Billy Donovan calls a timeout because Miami goes out there and puts up 6 points basically off of all twos. And then they went the rest of the game and they attacked the rim.
Yep.
It's almost like that was a moment of Billy Donovan calling them together and going, what are y'all doing? We got back in this game because we did what was working. And it seems like that carried over into this Indiana game, right? Not to say that the Bulls didn't shoot the three ball. I think that they shot the three ball for the most part okay for this game. But in the second half, when it was a little bit hotter and it was falling a little bit easier, they were more okay to take the three. In that first half, where I think that you kind of look at this team and go, maybe, try and find a shot that's working for you to continue to build a lead. We saw them do that, especially in that second quarter. Like, those are the things where it's just like, sometimes you just got to use common sense. And of course, this game, right, with no Tyrese Halliburton, you knew that there wasn't going to be this onslaught of elite 3-point shooters that were out there, right? So you're not as worried about it. But I do think it says something when you see a team that it finally feels like, hey, is that the simple thing that we can do to win us this game? Why don't we try doing that? And me and you talk about Stacey and say, he doesn't adjust, or he hasn't adjusted his mind to when it's okay to shoot the threes.
Yeah.
Stacey is right. It's a simple game.
It is a simple game. Like, he's always been right about it's a simple game part. The problem is Stacey thinks that everything should be in the paint. It's like, why are you shooting that three? Stacey, they've made 12 threes in the first half of this game. If we don't start shooting some threes, no matter how many pick and rolls we run for you, big fella, it's just we're gonna lose the game. But the thing also in this game is I love the way that the Bulls answered every run. The Pacers went on a 9-2 run early in the first. They respond with a 6-4 run. The Pacers in the first quarter with an 8-2 run. The Bulls immediately come out with a 5-0 run, and then a 12-0 run later in the second quarter before finishing the first half with another 13-3 run. The Bulls went on several runs in this game. Now the third quarter came out. The Pacers came out on a 10-2 run. The Bulls, they didn't respond initially, but it's just they kept going on runs. A 20-8 run in this game, a 7-5 run, a 10-3 run. Like, the Bulls every time the Bulls caught the momentum, or the Pacers caught a little bit, the Bulls responded right back and not only snatched that momentum, but built off of it more so than what the Pacers did. So, and I get it, they didn't have Halliburton. That's what you want to do. But I think that we've seen this Bulls team this year lose to a team that was missing 5 of its starters, right? Playing G Leaguers out there. So yes, I'm going to acknowledge when they do something that's right, because they just haven't all season long.
No, 100%. And I think that's the thing, right? We've seen this Bulls team lose to teams that don't have their main players. Who was the team we lost to? Was it Atlanta? When Atlanta basically just had the G Leaguers out there?
We lost one to Atlanta with missing a lot of their roster. We lost one to Brooklyn with missing a lot of their roster early in the season, where it was literally
we lost one to Brooklyn, basically.
Yeah. No, I mean, hell, it was less than Brooklyn. Like, it's like how do you lose to the people the people under the stairs? Like, if you that's bad.
Dog, we've seen this team lose in some amazing ways, and I'm not sitting here telling you that this is a phenomenal, life-changing win that the Bulls just got over the Indiana Pacers. Listen, I understand that you're missing some key pieces when you don't have a guy like when you don't have a guy like Tyrese Halliburton out there. I think that's an obvious key piece that's missing in their game plan. But listen, you still had Pascal Siakam, you still had Miles Turner, you still had Aaron Naismith, you still had Benedict Mathurin. These are all people who contribute to this playoff team being successful. So seeing this Bulls team go out there and compete the way that they do, I think you had a video that I thought was great today on Chicago Bulls Central, talking about today or yesterday, where you talked about don't let the flash take away from the long-term dream. This is a flash.
Yeah.
And we all can see it. But I do think that there's something to be said about, hey, this flash could be important for the long-term goal, but don't get it confused with these are the answers. And I think that's how Bulls fans need to look at the rest of this season.
Hey, that's exactly right. Like this season is fun. The glimpses that we're seeing are perfectly fine. But we still got long-term questions that need to find answers to, and we have not found those. Make no mistake about it. Those have not been found yet. We still got a long way to go before we get there. But love the way that these young players are competing. And I tell you what, bro, like I'm it sounds old now. Like I saw
Here we go.
the baby Bulls, right? Like I saw that team go from you. I know you remember too. I know you were younger than too.
That team is 20 years ago.
Bro, I know that's crazy.
It's okay for us to say we sound old.
That's crazy. But that team went from a team that at point you were like, yeah, we got some talent, but they keep getting their teeth kicked into. Wait a second, they're fighting. Wait a second, they're competing. Oh crap, They're starting to win some games, right? Like, and that's that. This team is starting to feel like the early part of that. But that team, you know what John Paxson didn't do? He didn't let a little 3-game run and they wouldn't be like, bet we're there. No, he kept saying, we got to keep adding to this team. We got to keep refining to this team. Hell, he traded Elton Brand, right? He traded Ron Artest, right? So you still got things that you need to refine, but you're starting to see, hey, maybe there's some bones and something you can build here.
Yeah, and that's all you can hope for. It doesn't have to be all right and perfect right now.
Yeah.
But when you head into next season, do you see something? I think you do.
We'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens. But we know what's about to happen up next. We're going to get into a message from one of our sponsors, DoorDash. NBA fans, get ready. They swoosh, you save. Thanks to DoorDash, every time a player drops 50 or more points in a game, you score a huge deal the next day. It's simple. When any player scores 50 or more in a game during the 2024-25 NBA regular season, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order up to $10 off the next day from noon to midnight. After an epic 50-point performance, celebrate by ordering wings, pizza, or burgers from your favorite spot delivered straight to your door. Planning to catch the next game? Order your go-to snacks and meals at a discount and get ready for more high-scoring action. Sign up for Dash Pass, and be ready to save. Yeah, it was a little bit. When any player scores 50 or more in a game, Dash Pass members get 50% off an order the next day, up to $10 off. Just use promo code NBA50 from noon to midnight after a 50-point game on eligible orders at participating merchants. Must have an active Dash Pass account. Terms apply. Visit DoorDash to learn more. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So, by the way, now with this DoorDash thing, listen, when players score like 42, 44 points, I'm like, just go get the 6. Like, what are you doing here? Just go
you do me mad. You do me mad a little bit.
Yeah, like Shea the other night had 40. Like, you could have got 10 more points, my boy.
Bro, the worst is when it's like a minute and 10 left and they got 48 and then they just start dribbling between their legs to dribble the clock out. They'd be like, no, we're not dribbling the clock out, bro. Like, finish the game.
Exactly. That's when you just like, oh, so F us, huh? Just F us, huh? I see how it is. Anyway, Vooch and P. Will return tonight. Vooch got a double-double. P. Will got a quadruple single. How'd you feel about the returns of P. Will and Nikola Vucevic today?
Vooch is interesting. Good minutes off of the bench. He's exactly what I expect Vooch to be. 11 and 11. I don't know if off of the bench is kind of what they anticipate Vooch being the rest of the way. But listen, 11 and 11. He's got another double-double. We put him in he became the third. He's the third highest, he has the third most double-doubles of any Chicago Bull of all time. So that's pretty cool. I think he's behind Artis Gilmore and Scottie Pippen for that stat. So that's a pretty cool stat to be a part of. And, P. Will's back. So there's that.
Is he though? Is he? Is he really?
Listen, there was a deal that I forget who the platform that proposed it was talking about the Bulls trading for Zion Williamson. And they said, you trade Nikola Vucevic, Patrick Williams, and a 2027 first round pick. I was like, done, just to get him off of my team and clear the cap. I don't care anymore. Like when I hear Pat Will's name come up, I'm just like one of the viewers on a Pat Will video on your channel, dog. It doesn't matter. Like I've gotten to the point where the conversation on P. Will being a part of this team moving forward is pointless. Nikola Vucevic's conversation being on this team is pointless because we know that they're not going to be, we know that Vooch is not going to be a part of this team. I'm going to be real with you, I just don't see a place for Pat.
I see a place for Pat.
The bench. Or preferably someone else's bench.
$18 million bench player, bro. Ball boy. Because, listen, I was a defender of P. Will for a very long time, right? And the thing that and I get it, it's his first game back with injury. Let's let him get his legs back under him, whatever, whatever excuse you want to write off, cool. But when it just comes down to P. Will, at this point, I don't care who you are, what you are. At 5 years in the league, we still shouldn't be looking at you and being like, can you give us some effort? That's not what we should be judging you by 5 years in the league.
Hey, bro. Patrick Williams averaging the same thing off of the bench that he was averaging in high school.
Yeah, and maybe we need to bring his high school teacher here to tell him to shoot more as well. The principal, like,
it didn't help him. It didn't help him. Not like to be honest with you, it's a pointless conversation at this point. He's going to be who he's going to be here.
Yeah.
And maybe he goes somewhere else and he is somebody bigger and he is somebody better and he does have more of an impact on the team. I'm not saying it's impossible. He could have a long NBA career, but who he is here is who he's going to be. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I would love to be proven wrong because he is the 4th pick in the draft. When I see Patrick Williams, I've talked about this multiple times, you see the intangibles that probably got AK shook up. When he actually decides to go through somebody, there's nobody in the league that can stand in front of him and not be moved by him. He's stronger than most people in the NBA.
You know who P. Will is? He's Damian from Friday After Next. Y'all get the reference. I'm gonna leave it there.
That's a wild pull, dog. That's a wild pull on that one, dog.
You're happy it's your son's anyway. P. Will is just, bro, like, he's so soft, bro. Like, I've never seen somebody who literally looks like a walking tank, bro. P. Will looks like he should be going to the lane, drawing fouls, or knocking people over every single time. He just does not care. P. Will shies away from contact. It's ridiculous, bro.
Yeah. And I see y'all in the comments sitting there talking about give him time. He's had 5 years. Who do y'all want him to be? Who's this player that y'all hope that he's going to magically turn into? Who is this piece that y'all think he's going to become? Because he's shown you none of it. I can count on one hand the flashes because there's been so few of them. I remember them.
And you know what?
Who's this player that y'all think Patrick Williams is going to magically turn into, and all of a sudden you're going to turn around and go, oh, God, because all you keep doing is going, bro, he's only 20. Bro, he's only 21. Bro, he's only 22. Bro, eventually it's going to be, bro, he's only 30.
Somebody said it on my live stream tonight, and I think that it was a very good pull and statement to make. They said P. Will should be sending Larry Markkinen thank you letters because the Bulls fear that Patrick Williams will go away and develop like Larry did, got him $19 million.
Yep. 100%.
And that just is what it is. That's just the reality of it.
And it's sad, bro. It's sad. I'm ready for the experiment to be over. I'm ready for it to be done. I know AK is not. He's going to ride this experiment out like a doggone.
Oh, P. Will's going to be here at least until the last year of his contract where he's going to expire.
He got 3 more years of this, bro.
Yeah, bro.
He's treating P. Will like a 2001 draft prospect.
Bro.
Remember how you had to give mugs till their second contract?
Yeah.
And then you could trade them like 2 years into their second contract. Like, that's how it used to be if you drafted somebody in the first round. Like, you got to get these guys time to develop. I still don't know who developed after all that time in the league, but all right.
I don't know, but it's just this thing now with P. Will. Like, and make no mistake about it, I think P. Will can be productive off the bench. Like, if you get, because he averages about the same off the bench as a starter. He can give you solid 9 points on decent shooting off the bench. But here's the thing: in the modern NBA, I want at least somebody off the bench. If I'm going to pay them $19 million, that has the chance to do a little bit more from time to time.
Zach Collins is a big off the bench
For $18 million.
Kevin Huerter's off the bench.
The Red Rocket.
I've seen more impact from those two in the 8 games that they've been here, 9 games that they've been here than I've seen from Patrick Williams in 5 years.
At this point, I'd rather keep Trey Jones than Patrick Williams and just let Trey Jones play power forward. I think he'll give more effort.
I said it a long time ago, dog. Everybody's waiting for, like, they don't call plays for Patrick Williams. They don't put him in a position where he's got to go be the scorer. Javonte Green shouldn't be giving me more production on the floor. Trey Jones shouldn't be giving me more production on the floor. Like, it shouldn't be. The Bulls are begging you to give you the keys. They're begging you. Please be aggressive so that we can make you the face of this franchise.
The problem is they told him to go grab the keys, and he grabbed the set of keys to the old house. He grabbed the wrong keys, Pat. Who's
on the Sacramento Kings that we can trade for to just complete the trifecta of
just send them over there?
Chicago Kings over there?
I don't know, bro.
Who's over there that we can grab? I don't know, man. Anytime we bring up P. Will, I just get depressed because I had such a desire for him to be successful here in Chicago. I hate that he's not more successful, but listen, he's Cheeks McNuggets. That's what he is right now. Hey, before we get into this final topic where we talk about Josh Giddey and the injury that he's dealt with, we do got to tell you guys all about our sponsors over at FanDuel. March Madness is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get a $200 back in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. There's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. Listen, here's the best part about the March Madness time of year. You never know who's going to win, but you can always be a winner if you utilize FanDuel. It's easy. It's fast. The FanDuel app is so simple to use. And when you win, you can get paid instantly. There is no waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoop action all tournament long. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
All right, Pat. Now everything was all sunshine and rainbows, even in a win. Josh Giddey goes down in this game, lands on the foot of a Pacers player. I don't remember which one. You see the immediate frustration. He walks to the back. He slams his hand on something. Typically, the way that I like to read the players' reactions, especially when it's an injury that they've already suffered, when it's like a re-injury or something, because usually they can feel how the severity. For example, LeBron James just re-injured his groin. He had a severe groin injury a few years back, and he literally after the day on that same day was like, "Oh, this ain't as bad as the one. I shouldn't be out that long." Ended up saying 1 to 2 weeks. Josh Giddey's reaction. Now, I don't know if he said anything post game because we've been doing the show or whatnot. To me, tells me that he was in quite a bit of pain. Yeah. Do you see them shutting down Josh Giddey? Do you think this is going to be something severe? How are you feeling about the Giddey injury?
Listen, I think there's one of two things. I think that you have to have a conversation on shutting down Josh Giddey if you're the Bulls and see a long-term future with him. I think if you're Josh Giddey, there's no way I'm letting you shut me down. I said $30 million. I want the 3 in front of the check that I signed. And if I'm Josh Giddey, that means that I'm trying to do everything I can to stay on the court as much as possible and play through whatever I got to play through to stay on the court as much as possible. That's the one thing that I do think that that if you're Josh Giddey, you're going to try to fight through. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case again, if the Bulls are going to let you do that. But I mean, to me, I think that if you're the Bulls, it's only smart. Listen, you're going in a direction right now where, like I said at the start of this, and I was joking, but kind of serious. Went a little too much. I mean,
we are winning a little.
You don't want to get. I'm all for seeing the team be competitive and seeing the reason behind the team being competitive and enjoying the group that this team has become and seeing their principles maintained and their basketball IQ and all that maintained. But when I said that the Bulls would make the playoffs, it wasn't a want. I would really like for them not to make the playoffs. I would really like to keep this lottery pick that it seems like we're in a position to get here. I don't want to see the Bulls go out there and actually find a way to go get themselves thrashed by the Cleveland Cavaliers.
But Pat, don't you? No, I'm just like here's the thing. All jokes aside, regardless of the pick or anything else, like taking all that out of consideration and just looking at just Giddy the player. Like sometimes you gotta protect players against themselves. I get it, the whole, but I said 30 million, but at the same time, like Giddy gotta like, because now Giddy's shown himself now. Like they're locked in long term with Giddy, right? Like I know they still got to sign the contract. I think you got to tell them about that too. Like the last thing you want to do, go out there is risk them. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, Pat. Much different levels, but I had a similar feeling with up by 20 points. A point guard goes up for a layup and comes down with the injury. What does that remind you of, Pat?
We're not gonna speak on that. We're not gonna do that right here.
I'm just saying. That's like I said, much different levels right of it. Much different levels of it. But I won't lie to you. I was sitting there and I was like, I don't like this feeling.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, to me, I think the conversation is even when you bring up the Bron thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. The Bron thing to me is even more, talking about the severity of it. Isn't this the same stretch of games that he was like complaining about playing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he's out with a mysterious injury in the same stretch of games that he was complaining about playing. I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, but no, I think if you're the Bulls, the smart thing to do is assess it. See what it is first. I think you shut it down if it's something that is a injury. If he's hurt, sometimes you got to play through being hurt. And especially if you want money, you got to play through being hurt. That's just what it comes down to. The one thing I'll give credit to Nikola Vucevic on, who has been one of our highest paid players, and we've credited him this many times. He's played through being hurt many a time. Zach LaVine has played through a ton of injuries for the Chicago Bulls. DeMar DeRozan played through being hurt a ton with this team. That's what your top players are supposed to do. So if you want to have that kind of impact on the team, if you want to have that kind of money on the team, I think that's the conversation that you're looking to have. But if it's an injury, yeah, I mean, you don't want him to be further injured. If you're going to pay this guy, you want to pay him to be as healthy as possible. And realistically speaking, that probably doesn't happen if you're talking about a severe ankle injury that's going to keep him out 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. I think it's not the worst case scenario to have Josh Giddey out. Like at this point, you're getting the other players back. Just kind of is what it is. And Josh Giddey he's played strong. Like if you need to sit him for a week, you need to sit him for 2. I mean, hopefully the hope is, they look at it and say, hey, it's just a bad sprain. We'll see you in a couple of days, whatever, he'll be fine. But, I don't think you can risk anything with Josh Giddey.
Yeah, we'll see what the Bulls end up doing here. I think that this is not this is a situation where you play this one by ear and see kind of where this ends up in the long run. We'll see what the Bulls end up having happen there. And hopefully Giddy is healthy and good to go on the other side of this. I do hope for that. I don't want to see him miss time, honestly.
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed watching Josh Giddey play basketball, the game of basketball, so much. Like seeing him work things out, start attacking the rim, and you're seeing it also transfer to the defensive side of the ball. He's also becoming a more complete defender on both sides. Like, so it's not that I don't want to watch Josh Giddey play basketball. I do. I just don't want him risking anything with the injury that he already couldn't practice in the offseason. He wasn't able to practice throughout most of training camp in the contact portion of it. I want everybody the same thing with Io, right? Like he got the surgery early because that way he can get the rehab done. He can be ready to go by training camp. Yep. I want to see this team plus a lottery pick come back next season and not have any problems at the beginning of training camp and just be able to come out firing and see what we got so we can evaluate it. And that's just what I'm looking at, man.
100%, man. 100%. Let's hope so. Let's also get up out of here.
Let's get up out of here, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure you guys are following us at Locked On Bulls. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, and more. You can follow Pat at Pat the Designer. You can follow me at CEO Hayes. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Love you guys. Go Bulls. Oh, yeah, you got to do the song.
3 in a row, baby. Say red. Get it, dude. He be hooping too. Coby White. He be balling out. If there's one thing I'm going to do when it comes to P. Will, it's going to be doubt. Let's get up out of here.
Peace, y'all. We out.